so here's how we make our giant paper flower for the St John's cocktail party. We have 1, 2, 3 sheets of broadsheet newspaper, so that's the Australian or the Age. Then we have 2 sheets of tissue, and we have 1 piece of tulle. When we're using the tulle, it is actually quite fiddly, so if you're using children to help you, I would suggest that you don't have the tulle on top. So we now turn it upside down and we fold it as if we're making a fan. And try and keep all the layers together. So as I say, the tulle is quite tricky because it doesn't really like to fold. It's hard to keep it zigzagging in and out. It's good to have a clean surface to do this on. We can do this with the smaller newspapers as well, like the Herald Sun, but you won't need the full sheet of tissue paper. It will hang over the edges. And when we're using it on the broadsheets, you'll see that the tissue paper is a tiny little bit smaller than the newspaper itself. So we just have to cut the flower a little bit smaller so that we can cut that tissue as well into the petals. Otherwise, they'll have flat ends. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we've now finished the fan. Okay, now you've got to keep it together here as much as possible. Grab your piece of twine and in the middle, just give it a good tight knot. Doesn't matter if it folds up too much. Okay, now some of you might just want to get to this stage and then hand these into the school, and we can take care of the rest, because this is actually the tricky part from here. So first I have to cut the petal shape. So I'm going to end our petals down at this point because that's where the tissue ends, and I'm going to try and cut it up the sides into a bit of a point and then around down into those folds. Oh, and cut through that tulle. And then we'll do the same at the other end. As I say, this tulle is very messy. Just a minute. We're talking to everybody on the video. Okay, so cutting it around into a point. And back down the other side. So it looks a bit like the wings of a dragonfly at the moment. And if you want to hand it in like that, that's fine too. So here's our tricky bit. The tulle side is going to be the upside of the flower. We need to open it up really carefully because it's actually the newspaper that is quite fragile. So you need to get right in close to that twine to pull the flower out. Don't pull it from the ends or you'll find that everything tears. Once we get to here, we can pull all the tulle up because that's the centre of our flower. Then you have to really tease the tissue out by taking your fingers down close. Otherwise, as I say, everything will just tear. So to get right in there and tease it all out, layer by layer. Get your fingers right in and then wiggle them up. Your fingertips should be right into the centre of the circle. And fluff it up. Same with the other side. This could all be done on the day of the installation, so if people wanted to hand them in unfluffed, I'd be really happy with that as well. Again, the next layer of tissue. Just to we're using the tissue paper just to hide the newspaper a little bit because the newspaper is not so fabulous looking, but it's really nice and strong and it's a great way to recycle things and to decorate our school hall without spending too much money, but being nice and creative at the same time. Okay, so that's the top part of the flower. Now we've got the 3 layers of newspaper and we've got to do the same thing with those, at least with one of them. Now this is the bit where it does like to tear. You can hear it tearing, so I really do need to get my fingers way, way, way in there and tease it up. Okay, so you can see that that's really given it a lot of bulk now. Hop down, Giselle, please, darling. And one more. Once we've got about 300 of these, we'll have enough to create a really exciting look in the Aikenhead Hall by sticking these up all over the place. That's pretty much what we're hoping to achieve. So that's taken me about 3 minutes to make.
6.
6. Okay. That's how we do it.